Here's a excuse for my last two films. I claimed that this explosion in the harbor of Beirut was a nuclear explosion. Well, it reminded me of a nuclear explosion because of the fireball and the huge blast. But I found that this can also be caused of ammonium nitrate, and in the end of my speech you see a film of a explosion, ammonium nitrate explosion took place in Texas in USA. That was 2013, and there was a fireball, there was a blast, and there was also a mushroom cloud. A mushroom cloud can be caused by any big explosion, so there's no proof that this was a nuclear explosion. Maybe some may measure if there's radioactivity now in the harbor of Beirut, but I don't think so. All other things I said are true. It is the Antichrist who set this sign, and it doesn't matter who in the government of Beirut in Lebanon is responsible. It can be anybody, because it is all the Antichrist, the Jesuit order in Rome, that try to scare you, to scare the whole world, setting signs just 2 days before the anniversary of Hiroshima, 75 years ago. That was Thursday, and the explosion in the harbor of Beirut was on Tuesday, 2 days before. So, and there was a mushroom cloud, and Mr. Trump said in the beginning, well, it could be a bomb. Well, he's sure that it's a bomb, and this is somehow scary that maybe people think, well, that could be a atomic bomb. But I'm convinced that it is not the case, and I will tell you why. I will read you something from the Bible, from the Old Testament, and it is the first book of Kings. It is about King Solomon, all these trees, the cedars. In your language, it is El Alazu, cedar, this big tree in your flag, in your national flag. You have it in your flag. It is a symbol for the Lebanon, and in the Bible there's a description how the King Solomon sent all his people into the Lebanon to bring all these cedars to Jerusalem to build the Temple of Solomon. And the Antichrist knows the Bible quite well, and because of the historical meaning of your country, the cedar, all the wood, all the cedars for the Temple of Solomon came from your country, so the Antichrist will never poison your country with nuclear waste. I'm quite convinced. I'm sorry that I brought these two films, but it is true that the World Trade Center in New York in 2001, 9/11, was crashed down with nuclear bombs under the earth. That is true. I put this film also in my channel by Dmitry Kralekhov, a Russian scientist, military specialist. Just a second. Well, I will read you from the Bible. It is first book of Kings, and it is chapter 5, verse 13. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men, and he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month, by curses. A month they were in Lebanon, and 2 months at home. and Adoniram was over the Levi. And Solomon had 70,010 that bear burdens, and 80,000 hewers in the mountains. I switched to chapter 6. And it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel were come out of the land of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Siv, which is the second month, that he began to build the house of the Lord, which is known as the Temple of Solomon. Later, this temple was a symbol for the Baphomet cult, for the Satan cult. All Freemasons in the world worshipping this Temple of Solomon, which was destroyed by Babylon. And later, after the Israel, they were left after this occupation of Babylon. When they came back, they built a second temple known as the Temple of Herodes. But the Temple of Solomon has such a central meaning also for the Antichrist, because of this sacrificing cult. Well, in the days of Solomon, they sacrificed animals like sheep, and he fell into sin, but they were sacrificing of children, but they did it in the mountains, not in the Temple of Solomon. But for the Antichrist, this Temple of Solomon has such a central meaning, and all the wood of this temple came from Lebanon. So this is the reason why I'm so convinced that there's no nuclear waste in Beirut. I'm sorry that I brought these two films. You have problems enough. You don't want to be scared by some strange films, but see the film afterwards. This ammonium nitrate can cause a fireball, a mushroom cloud, and a shockwave like a nuclear device, but it does not mean that it was a nuclear device. That is it for the moment. See you next video.
I can't hear. It should collapse. There, looks like it just jumped out the window.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh, you okay? What about a bushes bear? They go all the way around the... Oh, yeah, they're probably just... I'm sure the
Deadly explosion at a Texas fertilizer plant that killed 15 people, injured hundreds more in 2013. Authorities now say it was not an accident, calling it a criminal act. And ABC's Philip Mena is in West Texas with the latest. Good morning, Philip.
George, good morning. Yeah, this is the blast site. The explosion left a crater about the size of an Olympic swimming pool, but the void it left in this community is immeasurable. And this morning, the feds say someone ignited it on purpose. The explosion rocking the town of West Texas now being called a criminal act. The images shocking, the smoke blinding.
I don't even recognize. I have no idea where I am.
The sounds of fear haunting.
Dad?
You okay?
Dad, I can't hear.
Come here.
I can't hear. Get out of here. Please get out of here.
15 people, including a dozen first responders, killed on that April night in 2013 at the West Fertilizer plant. Hundreds more injured. This morning, federal officials say it was no accident. The fire that sparked the blast intentionally set.
We came to the conclusion after we ruled out all reasonable accidental and natural causes.
3 years later, this town of 2,800 still recovering. Entire neighborhoods, the local high school, rebuilt. But you moved back.
Yes, I moved back. All I could think about was all those lives lost.
Federal investigators now on the hunt for the arsonist, offering a $50,000 reward.
We want the community to know that we haven't forgotten them. We owe it to them to go where this investigation leads us. We owe that to them, and that's what we're going to do.
In addition to the reward money, the ATF says this investigation has cost $2 million over the last 3 years, one of its most expensive ever. Robin?
Oh, thank you.